If you like this video, hit that subscribe button. I put out new Storybook Brawl videos every single day at 9:30 p.m. EST, and turns out most of you guys aren't subscribed yet, so what are you waiting for? I'm a pretty small channel, so I do also pay a lot of attention to comments and likes, so let me know what type of content you guys want to see. Enjoy the video. What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we're going to be looking at a game with the Sphinx. But this isn't just any game. This is actually my first perfect game in Storybook Brawl. In this video, I am not going to lose a single combat, and that is because the Sphinx is super powerful. I thought the Sphinx would be pretty good in my initial patch review, and it can definitely be a little bit of a high-rolly hero, but I think it is a really good one. I really like to pick up Cinderella on the Sphinx because you're going to be casting a few spells for free regardless, so that will really help you complete the treasure, and yeah, we're happy to pick it up on the first turn. You do have to cast some spells if you want that treasure early in the game, rather than just getting it when you hit level 6. But this is a great spell to cast here. A Sugar and Spice on the Humpty Dumpty means we're going to win this combat, and hopefully a few more, and also allows us to cast a spell on the Cindy. But Humpty Dumpty is usually a pretty good start if you want to try to create your own perfect game. So I'm pretty happy to pick it up. I've talked about this in a few videos, but I think playing in the Brave Princess Questing League has really turned me on towards wanting to play Humpty Dumpty a little bit more, and that has yeah, definitely kind of pushed me in that direction. In this shop, we've got we could have picked up those blind mice, but just decided to go for a genie's wish, so that way we're getting the Cindy next turn. Otherwise, we're just not casting a spell here. So I think the treasure winds up being better, and it works out okay for us here, decently so, because once we get that treasure, we're going to have 2 4/4s in the front line rather than these 2 2/2s, and we're kind of just hoping that Humpty Dumpty can win us this combat, and the next combat we'll upgrade Cindy, we'll get the treasure for Cindy, and then we will that will give +2/+2 to Crafty because we'll have a treasure. So that's kind of the idea, early treasure from Cindy Sphinx, and I think that is one of the things that makes Sphinx a little bit more powerful. We could pick up a Kidnap plus a Wretched Mummy and a Unicorn, but I'm going to roll, see if we can find a little bit better. I don't mind a second egg. I also don't hate the Brave Princess. We're going to roll one more time, though, and look for some XP. Instead, we first find an uncastable spell, and then we find a Potion of Heroism plus an Earthquake. So we will fire that one off here, and I do have to take a treasure, so I'm going to go for Fairy Tale. I think Fairy Tale's actually totally fine, too. I think a lot of times with Sphinx, you do wind up, at least how I play it, you do wind up going Copy Boy, because you are just ahead on XP over the rest of the lobby. So an early Fairy Tale can pump up our future friendly spirits and Copy Boys. I'm considering locking, but I'm also kind of interested in grabbing an Easter egg for these eggs. So that is kind of the idea here. But it looks like with that miss, I am going to crack one of my eggs, which means the Easter egg dream is dead. But we're still winning our combats. I mean, I kind of spoiled it here with the video. I think I take out some of the drama by letting you guys know that we're never going to lose a combat. That doesn't mean we're going to win every combat, but it does mean that we're not going to lose any. I am going to flip my egg over here. Get that egg, get that, I'm just thinking of like an egg in a pan as I said that with that imagery. But the main reason for that is we're playing the ghost this turn, so we don't really need the stats on the egg right this second. So let's flip our egg, and that's going to turn into a Madman, which we'll use to support this mummy. And I think I would like to, yeah, move over the Wizard's Familiar as well. I think this is the best lineup just to more evenly distribute your stats
rather than have a 7/4 and a 3/3. I think a 6/3 and a 4/4. It's just slightly better because the 4/4 is like already close to being big enough, but a 7/4 like isn't really bigger than a 6/3 for the most part. I mean, it could take down an egg or something like that, but shouldn't be too big of a deal. Also, we're playing against the ghost, so it really shouldn't matter either way. Next turn is our free spell turn, so we just want to set ourselves up well for that. And one thing that I really like to do on the Sphinx is play with Wish Upon a Star. And I'm actually just going to lock this here. I'm just going to consider what else can we be purchasing in the shop, but Wish Upon a Star is the best spell that you can cast for free. Definitely on the Sphinx, but probably even just in general in that early game, it's going to be the most expensive spell, so you're getting the most discount. But if you win the combat, that means that you are already the next level. Wish Upon a Star is just a huge XP gain, being able to gain 2 XP, plus you gain your XP for the turn, so you cast it on 4.0, you get the XP to 4.1, you win the combat to 4.2, and then you XP for the turn to 5.0. And then you're ready to cast another free spell. So that winds up being super powerful. I'm just going to grab, I don't even remember what I grabbed here. I think I grabbed the Princess White and the Minotaur and then cycled something else. That must have been what I did, because the Minotaur only costs 2, and that's what I picked up. So, next turn, we're just going to hope that this is big enough. We will be able to roll a little bit and try to add some other new things to the shop, but we're also decently powerful right now. So I think that there is a decent chance that what we have will be good enough. This is going to be good enough to tie, which is good enough for me. Now, next turn we cannot tie. We do have to get a win next turn. That is super important. So we do want to get stronger, and one of the ways that we can do so is with Friendly Spirit. So that is pretty sweet for 4 Friendly Spirits thanks to the Fairy Tale buff. Could also put a Black Cat on a Mad Mim. That's always a pretty respectable option too. It's either Black Cat or the Friendly Spirit on this Mad Mim. Both of those are pretty reasonable options. I actually do want to play White over Crafty, but I'm not sure if I will realize that. I might just not be playing Crafty either. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut both and run this Friendly Spirit. So if I sold 3 things, I could purchase this Lady of the Lake, so I could sell Minotaur, White, Crafty, and then put Lady of the Lake in to slot 6, and then maybe move it over to the last spot. I'm definitely eyeing it up. That seems like the best purchase, and I do just want to play whatever the best board could possibly be. So I'm going to go ahead, sell White, sell Crafty, and sell this Minotaur. Oh no, I'm going to sell the Black Cat. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I did not remember doing that because I just bought the Black Cat this turn. But, yeah, I guess the Mad Mim can only support 2 things. So, that's interesting. I actually really respect that as a play. Sometimes it's tough to sell something that you've purchased within that same turn. But you can see that health on that Friendly Spirit is going to be really, really good for us. That allows us to have that Friendly Spirit survive, and then it's eventually going to die and get placed onto our ranged unit. Opponent getting a lot of buffs here with this Creeper, but Lady of the Lake is just absolutely huge. We actually get pretty lucky there in order to win the combat. Or no, I guess we were winning the combat regardless, because Cindy could have traded with Vampire, and then Lady of the Lake would have killed off their Mad Mim. So I guess we were winning that one regardless, so that makes us level 5. And there's Lancelot here, there's Friendly Spirit. I see. So Lancelot plus the Queen's Grace, I believe that spell is called, plus the Lady of the Lake, And if any of my friendly spirits hit onto the Lancelot, that means that we would get a tier 5 treasure. But I am just going to roll, see if we can come up with anything better than that, and I'm more than happy to take the end. This will put me 3 XP, a full level up on the rest of the lobby, which makes me feel pretty good. Puts me up to 42 health as well, and allows me to keep steamrolling for this perfect game. And then I'm going to buy Fairy Godmother to go along with these friendly spirits. If either one dies, the other one gets a little bit of a buff, and that will just mean that it gets to send that buff elsewhere. I do think Fairy Godmother is also generally pretty good in the good boy comps that you can put together, and here we are up against a perfect grandmother, and she's level 5, so she is doing some good things herself as well. She is going to get a treasure on this Lancelot because she's got double Godmother plus Lance, and Friendly Spirit actually hits onto Friendly Spirit, so that is quite huge. Don't want to undersell that. Then it's going to go on Fairy Godmother. Not as good as if it had just gone on to the Lady of the Lake. You know what? I wasn't paying enough attention. Did my opponent actually wind up getting the Lancelot treasure? I think they missed. I think that they just barely missed that, and we are going to give Grandmother her first loss as we continue win streaking. Copycat seems great here. We do also have the option to pick up a Lady of the Lake for a double of that. I don't think that that's that terrible, but it's kind of interesting, and I'm a little bit curious that I pick it up here, but I guess for now I'm just not running the Copycat. I am just keeping it on the bench, but then we see another Friendly Spirit, and I do think that that one seems sweet. The only way to get it would be to sell off Mad Mim, Mummy, and Wizard's Familiar, which I'm not totally against. It means that I'm going to play some units down, though, so it will require some reordering, and we'll definitely need to support this with Copycat. But let's grab this, and our treasure options are Summoning Portal, which doesn't do anything, a Six of Shields, which is good, but I might just need Deck of Many Things because I am playing down a unit here, and I do want to keep winning. It would be nice to win streak this a little bit, and I'll move over the Copycat so that way it is getting supported from the Lady of the Lake. Could switch the Lady and the Grandmother or the Godmother as well, but I don't mind playing a backline Godmother. So Copycat's going to attack. That means Friendly Spirit gives something +18/+18, and that is all going to go on the Lady of the Lake. So that is quite a large lady, and now Friendly Spirit's going to attack in, and that is going to give the same Lady of the Lake +18 yet again, and we are going to deal 8 to the Wonder Waddle. So pretty nicely done there. And Gigantify, I think, is honestly like a pretty good spell. And I could cast it on Lancelot here, and then I could support Lancelot with some Ladies of the Lake, and then we get a free treasure. So I think that this is totally a fine pickup here. We're getting a tier 5 treasure for free from our hero power. And I think that's a great use of it. So I definitely do not mind doing that. We'll pick up another Copycat, and then we will just continue to roll. One thing that or some 5 treasures that I would like to see, definitely Staff of the Old Toad. You gotta remember, everybody else is just hitting level 5 this turn. So if we can pick up a Staff of the Old Toad, we can basically grab all of the tier 6 units, all the good boys, before our opponents even know what's what. And that would be pretty funny. Another thing is that we could potentially get like a Hand of Midas and then just roll a little bit more for good boy. It's funny, we hit level 6 before we even had 12 gold. You can see up there at the top of the screen 11 or 0 out of 11 gold. So we were just so ahead on XP. Yeah, here is Miri still on level 5. Deck of Many Things, doing a little bit of work there for us, but not too much. Really, it's these Copycats giving +18 to something whenever they attack. That is a pretty big bounty. That means that Lancelot is still huge right now, and that means my opponent is going to just have a tough time getting through our front line. And then we're going to get to attack again and give +18 to a ranged unit, and that's going to allow Lady of the Lake to survive this Juliet and almost take out the Miri. But the game is still pretty early. Does look like Hand of Midas will be the pickup here. Hand of Midas also doesn't stop us from picking up this third Lady of the Lake, but what might stop us is just wanting to roll and just wanting to keep our gold. I don't actually think it's a terrible thing to not pick up this Lady of the Lake here. The thing is, if we pick it up, we're not even doing anything with the treasure. So I don't actually think I want this Lady of the Lake. I think I just want to roll for good boys and copycats. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to find a good boy relatively quickly after that. And Candy Rain on it seems fine. It only gives it +1/+1, and the good boy isn't getting that much from the fairy tale because it is also only getting +1/+1 from the fairy tale, whereas if we had actually combined 3 good boys, then it would have been getting +3/+3. So a 6/6 upgraded good boy definitely is a little bit more stats, and I wasn't totally convinced that I'd be able to roll into something good this turn. I am going to lock for It Was All a Dream. And I think that this can really go either way when you are the Sphinx, because sometimes you don't want to dream. Sometimes you just want to stick with having 2 spells in your shop. And that's something that I'm still kind of testing out and still kind of figuring out, because it is pretty strong to just have those extra spells in there. It means you're going to find more upgrades. It means you're going to find more other things. This battle gets dangerously close, not to losing, but to I guess to losing. If we had attacked the melee unit, we would have actually lost that combat. So we were 1 in 3 to lose there. Still pretty good odds, but could be a little bit scary. Peter Pants isn't going to do anything for us. Snow Angel's kind of cute, but I think I'm just going to go for Headless Horseman here. It does mean we're going to lose the other kidnap to the shop. Maybe I should have sold the Lonely Prince before dreaming, but oh well. I am going to roll after that. None of those hero choices were that good, and honestly, those hero choices, as a result, do make me regret a little bit the fact that I dreamed into Headless Horseman, but we'll see. Maybe we can do some good stuff with this kidnap. The tricky thing with these kidnaps, though, actually, is that we need our opponents to catch up in levels, because we want to be able to steal good boys and copycats, and all of our opponents right now are level 5, other than the big bad wolf. But the ghost definitely is not going to have anything good for us to steal anyways this turn. Complex, actually, they were kind of strong, right? Okay, yeah, they got some court wizards and stuff. They're strong, but they're not strong enough to be able to beat us. So there you go. There's the first copycat. Second one's going to get attacked. Should still definitely have enough stats this combat, though, when our good boy is able to crash in. That's going to give the whole team +30, +40, and that's just way more stats than our dead opponent right now. So not super worried about that, but yeah, it is a little bit awkward that these kidnaps might not be the best at the current time. Stone Skin on a good boy seems fine, but so does casting Kidnap against Pied Piper, so that's pretty tough to consider, though Merlin's test is pretty tough to pass up there. So I am going to take the Merlin's test for the good boy, and then I'm just rolling for copycats, rolling for more good boys. I could dream again, but I don't want to spend all my gold this turn just locking, and when I've got kidnaps to cast too, so I don't really want to waste my time doing that. Unfortunately, we're just going to waste my time rolling and not finding anything else, but I do think that this board is still plenty powerful. We were super ahead of the rest of the lobby, and that is just a result of the Sphinx, and I think that for that reason, the Sphinx is really good. I've got another really insane Sphinx game that I will tease a little bit. Not sure when I'm going to upload that, just to space them out a little bit, but so probably next week. But it is a game where with the Sphinx, yeah, I should have kidnapped here, unfortunately. But with the Sphinx, I wind up getting ahead of the entire lobby by 5 XP. So pretty insane. We'll save talk of that video for the next, for when that comes though, and for right now, we'll focus on how my good boys are beating up these opponents. It does look like we're going to get a kill onto Pied Piper here, which is awkward because we just fought the ghost, and now that we've killed Pied Piper, we're probably not going to get to kidnap against them either. I do check, and this ghost is Potion Master. We weren't going to play the same ghost twice in a row there, so that's a little bit unfortunate that these kidnaps aren't really doing anything. But we'll still just continue to roll here. I'm just going to hang on to these kidnaps for now, and we'll see what we can roll into. Maybe we'll just spend all of our gold again doing absolutely nothing, but like I said, that's fine-ish because we're doing so well outside of that. So I'm just going to spend all my gold here doing nothing. Like I said, we are going to pick up a spinning gold, so at least we will have some more gold for the next turn, but that is going to be it for this one. Just a full roll down and one little spell. So not a particularly great showing there, but what is a good showing is the fact that we have not lost a single game. We are still at 42 health going into the end of it, and unfortunately the very first combat of the game, my Cinderella traded with something and we tied, so it is not a fully perfect game. It's not a spicy golden pretzel with mustard, right? Or a spicy pretzel with mustard. It's just a spicy pretzel with that Hearthstone Battlegrounds terminology there. Good Boy is going to be enough, certainly, to beat the Ghost. That's right, yeah, this was the player that we almost tied against. We are considerably stronger this time with an upgraded Good Boy, which I don't believe that we had the first go-round. And now we're in the finals. So now it is just time to cast these kidnaps. We'll look for something worth playing here over one of these units that we currently have. Really, I mean, the main thing that we would just like is... Oops, did I lose my camera? Nope, we're still here. The main thing that I would just like is another copycat. Certainly the game wants me to play Bearstain, though, and I think that there could be an argument for Bearstain. It's just not my argument. This seems great, though. We've got a copycat, and we've got a... upgrade. What's it called? Knighthood. So we're definitely locking this. We just have to figure out exactly what we are going to be playing, because I do want to be efficient with my gold. I don't want to sell the chicken, but I do realize I can actually just cast the kidnap, and then that will open up the spell and allow me to keep the rest of the stuff. So next turn, we know that we are casting Knighthood, so we do want to just make sure that we're keeping as much gold as possible. Otherwise we won't really be doing anything else on this turn. And I did use... Oh, no, wait. Yeah. I definitely had an upgraded Good Boy, because I've only had an upgraded Good Boy. But this is great news. As long as this Good Boy dies... Please, Good Boy, die. The Robin Hood here winds up being really funny, too. But as long as we can kill this Good Boy eventually, really close to killing that happy little tree, nice, we get the Good Boy. So we get a free upgraded Good Boy, which is awesome. This combat's really silly, though, because my opponent is Tree of Life, and my units have no attack. So we're just chipping away at things here, but you can see my health. Those numbers are insane. And eventually, my Good Boy will die, and now we're left with 1,000 health on my Lady of the Lake, and we're just barely not clearing some of these things. 37 attack against a bunch of 38 health units. So we're definitely working for it, but we just have so much health on our Lady of the Lake that it actually doesn't matter. We still win this combat with 400 health, and that was after getting everything Robin Hooded. So feeling really good about this next one, plus we have an additional upgraded Good Boy, so that is going to make us even better. Do have to figure out what we're getting rid of here. Probably should just toss this Lancelot, but I actually have to get rid of one of these units that we're using, and then I will just cast the Knighthood onto one of these copycats,
and we are doing really good. I do also want to play the Kidnap because it would be insane to get an additional upgraded Good Boy, but I do think that I should go for the Copycat this turn. Maybe we'll play a Kidnap next turn or something like that, but let's Knighthood this Copycat and then roll a tiny little bit, and we actually find another Copycat. So I probably could sell 4 things for it and just have a backline full of good boys, a front line full of copycats. Even without the crown, that is still going to be pretty good. However, I don't want to risk it and just play a bad board in the last second. Here goes Copycat. That is going to give everything a bunch of health, but no attack. Probably should have played around Robin Wood too and reordered everything. Then those stats are going to go onto the good boy. So we've got a ton of stats here. As long as our good boys die before Lady of the Lake, it's looking tricky. All right, there goes one of the good boys, and now here goes the other good boy crashing in. Neither of these things are really super close to dying, which I guess is fine. I guess that's totally fine here. Their good boy eventually dies, and it's actually pretty lucky that I didn't kidnap this turn because our good boy is not, or we wouldn't have stolen a good boy, is what I'm getting at. All right, Lady of the Lake, last unit, but it is at 2,000 health and is going to allow us to win the combat. So we need to win one more combat here. Going to buy a Copycat, and now I'm just rolling for another Copycat. That would be the best possible thing that we could get, but you know what, Gigantify? That would be pretty sweet too. So I might just have to settle for Gigantify. No, I'm going to roll past it. Okay. So we roll past Gigantify. That actually surprised me a little bit, but I just really want a Copycat because it's so tough to play all of these Copycats here. So, yeah, just a little bit unfortunate. I should maybe even just consider keep rolling, and probably should have just cast a spell here, but I figure I'm at 42 health. If I lose a game, I'm not thinking about the fact in the moment that this is a perfect game. I'm thinking about the fact that if I lose a game, we're still doing totally fine. I'm going to frontline the good boy this round because it will get Robin Wooded, and my good boy in the back will be able to then pump it up. So this winds up being a slightly better configuration. So there goes the Robin Wood, going to take out that good boy. Then it actually does get taken out by their good boy, which means that we get to throw a ton of stats elsewhere. My second Copycat is going to go down. We do kidnap their good boy again, so that is pretty sweet. But I think that we will probably wind up beating them. We still have a bunch of stats left over. Let's see if our good boys attack each other enough. Yeah, I don't see them. Well, okay, another Cupid. Yeah, I think we won this one. I don't think that the kidnap is going to matter, but we still won that game with 3 upgraded good boys, and 2 of those were from Headless Horseman. So the Headless Horseman transition wasn't that bad, all things considered, but what is really sweet is we got a perfect game. There's no achievements or anything like that in Storybook Brawl, but I can share it with you guys and show off and talk about this sweet game. I do think that the Sphinx is really powerful, especially if you play it in this way, just kind of looking for XP. I didn't really talk about it too much, but on 3.2, one of the reasons that I was willing to roll a little bit is because if you can lock a Wish Upon a Star on that turn, then you can cast it on 4.0 for free. So I do think that that winds up being a really strong strategy with the Sphinx. As you can see, my first perfect game. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.